Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of April 4th, 2022. I'm Nicole Eridix, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
And Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Every week we chat about the things parents are talking about, complaining about, and obsessing about right now. This week we're complaining about table manners and obsessing about managing our kids' health care. We also take a couple of breaks for an entertainment discussion and a recommendation roundup. Today, we're talking about our young adults and their finances. So us adults, us moms of young adult children or older adult children.
Yeah, not so young anymore.
are faced with some big questions because we have kids at varying stages of their life. Some are starting college, some are in the middle of college, some are done college. But this issue of money still hangs over our head, and that is like, how much do we pay? Like, what is our responsibility and what is theirs? Like, unless you cut your kid off of absolutely everything when they're 18, it is hard to know what to pay for and what you should ask your kids to cover. And and how do you go about doing that? Do you give them an allowance? Do you Venmo them money when they need it? Do you give them a credit card? Like, how is this all done? Because I know I really struggled with it when my son went through university, and then now my daughter's in university, and I've tried to apply some of the same principles, but that doesn't always work because she's in another country with a different, exchange rate and standard of living.
So she's not living in a ratty fraternity house, is what you're saying?
Not anymore. No, this girl has, what do they call it? Champagne tastes on a beer budget.
Oh dear.
So anyway, I just personally find myself picking up the slack a lot. And like how when I was a kid, when I was a young adult, I paid for everything pretty much from, the time I left high school. I paid for college. I paid for my housing, my, everything, my car, everything. But then in those, I don't know, like maybe it's just because times are different and kids can't get those kinds of jobs to pay for all of that. I don't know, because I did have a good job, but I
think there are like cost of living differences that are real, and I can't remember that much about what my parents did or didn't pay for, but when I was out of college and had my first job, it was as an editorial assistant at a magazine in New York City, and I was out of a group of like 6 or 7 peers that had the same or similar job. I was the only one who lived by myself, who didn't live with a family member. I had a roommate for part of the time, but I'm talking about like, living with your parents, living with your grandparents, whatever.
Right.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there because that doesn't apply to our children. I feel like we are doing it on a very like case by case basis. And that is probably not wise, because nobody knows, what to expect. In certain things, my daughter pays for like, her rent, her living expenses. I just gave her what was allotted from the 529 program, savings that we have for her college. So basically, when the kid is living off campus, you can give them the same amount of money that it would cost for them to be living in the dorm.
Right.
And, apply it to their off-campus living. So I just gave her a big chunk and put it in her bank account. And now she pays her rent and her food and stuff from that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
She gets practice at budgeting and doing things herself.
Right. So
you must have a lot of trust in her financial responsibility.
I do. I mean, obviously we talked about it when I said, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to put this chunk in there and then you're going to need to use it. And she has always been pretty responsible about that kind of thing. And she pays for her own gas too and stuff. Because she does have a car. But, I got her onto my Costco membership, and she always gets her gas at Costco because that's where it's pretty cheap.
Right.
And then, like she has my Target card. So she buys a lot of whatever she needs at Target that's getting charged back to me.
Yeah.
And Amazon Prime. Yeah. But once in a while, she'll just like Venmo me some money and say, like, I just spent a lot of money at Target or whatever. So she'll just Venmo me. I'm like, okay, thanks. So,
yeah, I mean, I tried to set with both kids. I tried to say, okay, I will, we have money set aside for your housing and your tuition. I'll take care of that because I did not want them having that chunk of money in their bank accounts.
Right. And then tuition, no, I do that.
Yeah. And then I said, okay, I'm going to give you a set amount per month. So, like whatever we budgeted for, like we looked at their food and their entertainment and, health needs, et cetera. And so then I give them a chunk of money per month that they need to use for that. And then anything else has to come from their money. So I mean,
so you have kind of a plan.
I guess it is. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't necessarily, I'm still getting, all these extras that I still pay for, but I mean, I guess, yeah, like I guess the big thing is if it's something that you don't absolutely need and it's like a luxury item kind of thing or entertainment, or like last week, my daughter's friend came up from California and they went to a tourist site. Like it's a suspension bridge. You walk over and it was like $50 a ticket per person. I said, I'm not paying that. That can come out of, the money that you've saved from previous years or whatever. So stuff like that. I'm like, don't you deal with, or if she goes out for dinner or whatever. So, I guess maybe it's a system. I don't know.
I think the big thing that we are still paying for our daughter is her skating,
Right.
Because she can't afford that. So
right.
And she does pay for some things, like when she has lessons and she pays the coach directly, but like for her team fees and stuff,
right,
we covered that. So
yeah, it's hard to know. And then when my son, and then the other thing too, the other agreement we have too is that we'll cover your tuition and housing for your undergrad, but anything past that, you're going to have to take on because we'll just be drowning in student debt for the rest of our lives. So that was the other agreement. So as soon as they're done their undergrad, everything else is theirs.
Right.
So I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of how. But it's hard. It's still hard because I get all these random charges and oh, Mom, I went shopping today and I needed some pants or something.
Did you need that?
Did you really?
Did you want them?
It's a very different standard of living between my kids and me. That's for sure. Very different.
Yeah.
How about you, Terry? You got older kids. What are you doing?
Catherine, you were talking about when you were first out of college. And I mean, when I was in college, I was living in an apartment. I don't know if I paid for that or not. I think my parents gave me a certain amount of money every month And then I did have jobs always at various times. So I'm not sure what I paid for and what they paid for. But once I had graduated, I immediately got a good job, and I pretty much paid my way for everything from then on, and got very used to it and think it was a good thing. Occasionally I lived at home, but not for very long because they drove me crazy. But, and I'm sure likewise. But now I have two kids who are only able at this point in time anyway to get part-time jobs because of their various disabilities, and very happy to have them going out and working for whatever they do. My goal has been for them to make enough money to be able to pay for their insurance every month, and health insurance, and they do that. So that's an expense they take care of. And, they both have like Apple Music subscriptions that they pay for. My son invests heavily in items from the vending machine at his workplace. So that's pretty much what he racks his credit card up with, but affordable all the same. And my daughter pays for pretty much everything except all the things we do, which is room and board and gas for her car and the car to drive and all that stuff. But if she has something she wants from the grocery store, she goes and gets it. If she has something she wants to order on Amazon, she pays for it, which means I don't necessarily know what all she's buying until it comes to the door. I'm glad not to have the control. I'm glad she's spending her own money. I'm glad she's spending her own money. I'm not getting those little bills like Nicole and saying, you really needed this? Nope. She pays for it. It's her money. So my daughter especially gets a little bit of the experience of managing money and doing her own thing. My son, I pretty much handle everything for him, and his wants and needs are pretty minor. But, my daughter buys her own clothes. We buy the clothes for him. She buys, what she wants to eat. We buy whatever he wants. It's just, we pretty much do everything for him, because if we didn't, he just wouldn't ever buy anything. So, got a big hole in the back of your jeans then, honey. Right. Let's buy you a pair of jeans. And he would pay for it. We just don't, I think we don't ever think to say that, hey, we could put this on his credit card and then he could buy his own. Wouldn't that be good? We should do that more. I've been telling my husband we should do that more, but we just out of habit do things for him. Whereas my daughter has things that she wants that she does not necessarily want to vet through the rents. So she just now has the ability to buy things. I wish she was putting more in savings. My opinion is not particularly desired.
It's not welcome.
But, and she pays we pay everything for him, but she pays her medical expenses in addition to her insurance, except for one professional that she sees who does not take insurance and who would need to be paid more than my daughter makes in a month. So we pay for that. Right. So it's just basically, it is what it is right now. My daughter couldn't go out and get an apartment. She doesn't make enough money. So even if she wanted to, and my son certainly doesn't either. So we're kind of comfortable with the way things are. I don't feel like it's anything that we're paying for them is out of line. And she is definitely getting an experience of managing her money.
Yeah.
And he really does not care enough to have an interest. Right. So that may be a goal. Maybe we should work on that. Except the vending machine. He's very independent with the vending machine. I pay his credit card every month from his bank account just because, again, he doesn't care to do stuff like that. Right. And I can see the large number of transactions. So I think there's a possibility he's buying vending machine things for other people as well, which, it's his money. Right. So, but I don't know, still a work in progress, I guess.
Yeah. Well, like everything, a work in progress. Always.
Yes.
So that'll be it for today's round 1. Tune in tomorrow for our entertainment themed round 2, and later in the week to find out what we're complaining about, obsessing about, and recommending right now. We're always interested in what you have to say, so drop us a comment on our website, our Facebook page, or Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.